Hello and welcome to the Screen Chronicles. I'm Colby. With me as always is Steve, and today we're joined by a very special guest. You may have seen him in work such as The Tudors, Ant-Man, or The Hitman's Bodyguard, just to name a few. But if you're listening to us, you will know him as King Constantine of Scotland in The Last Kingdom. Rod Hallett, welcome to the Screen Chronicles.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Rod. We're huge fans of the character too that you played. I remember when Colby was ahead of me in the show, and he reached out to me. And he's like, "There's this character that comes in near the end of the season. You're gonna love him. Like we've got to have him on." And I was like, "All right, let's see where he comes on." And pretty much like the second time we saw you, I was like, "This is the guy he was talking about."
I shot you a message almost as soon as the season ended. And I said to Steve, your character was amazing.
Oh, that's lovely to hear. I love that guy too. I think he's amazing. What an incredible guy. I loved studying him as well. He's such, I think he's one of the most extraordinary kings I've ever come across. And I don't understand why I hadn't heard of him. And I've never met a Scotsman who's heard of him. And it just did so much that I don't know why there's not more about him. He's incredible.
What all did you learn? What all did you learn about him?
Well, okay, so we're going back.
What did you take away?
I'll try in a nutshell. If I talk too much, you shut me up.
No, you go for it.
You're good. You're good.
Worth bearing in mind that this is 1,000 years ago. History's a bit sketchy, and someone says this happened, someone says this happened, and for my purposes, I have to just go. Okay, I'm going to choose this way on that, whatever helps me do the job. And also about research I did like 18 months ago, so I can't really remember. My take is that before he was there was no Scotland, didn't exist. It was just little kingdom states that were sometimes at odds with each other, attacking each other and that sort of stuff. He had his father, who's called, I think he's called Ieth. I think that's how you pronounce it, or spelt AED, but I think pronounced Ieth. He was, I think, a hopeless, useless king. And there's this book, The Chronicle of Kings, which is in Paris, which lists about, 11, 12 kings over a period of time in Scotland. And I think the only thing it says about Constantine's father was he contributed nothing to history or something like that. But anyway, so they thought this guy's not going to help us with the Vikings, so let's kill him. So a guy called Giric, comes in and assassinates Constantine's father, and then Donald and Constantine, Constantine's older cousin, thinks, okay, you're at risk now. You're in line to the throne. You're not going to be wanted. So they run away to Ireland and they live there for about 10 years, and then they come back, thinking, right, we're old enough to reclaim this, oust the usurper. And I think, and so do some historians, some don't, think they assassinated him. I don't know, some massive fortress called Dundurn or something like that.
Okay.
And then Donald, being the older, he became the first king of Scotland, but he died within a year, I think in a battle or something. So Constantine took over and really formed Scotland, and then he kept it safe. Everyone was dying. I read one point, I think, I could be exaggerating this, but the life expectancy at that time in that country was about 20, 25 or something like that. Something unbelievable.
Right.
Constantine stayed on the throne for 43 years.
Wow.
And abdicated to study scripture in St. Andrews for another 8 years or something like that. So, and he kept it safe. He kept it what it is basically today, throughout all the attacks coming from everywhere. So, yeah, I think.
Do you know how old he was when he took the throne?
Hang on. So he left Scotland when he was about 6. He must have come back at 16. Donald would have been dead within a year. So I guess he was 17, something like that.
Wow.
We don't really know. But
we don't really know.
Yeah. It's about, like, sometimes you read that when was he born? And historians say, well, he's got to have been born before his father died, at least 9 months before his father died. So he's probably born then, or it could be 10 years before that. We don't know. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but anyway, I love him. I love him.
How did you get in acting too? I mean, backing it up here, how did you get into what you do now?
It's funny. I've always been a bit embarrassed to admit this, but seeing your podcast, I can't believe how many people have the same story I do.
Yeah.
Yepes is almost identical to mine in that he must be exactly my age. I went to the cinema. I saw Star Wars: A New Hope, and then I was in. I was like, that's what I want to do. I'm sure I must have thought this is real, and out there these Han Solo exists somewhere, and very briefly, and then realized, okay, no, this is all made up. But how can I do that? Well, the only way is to become an actor like Harrison Ford or whatever, and do it. That's what made me want to do it.
Okay.
And then I just remember just pursuing it gently throughout childhood a little, and then at about 18, I went off to drama school for 3 years, and that seemed like the routine in the UK. You go 3 years in school, then at the end of that 3 years, you have what they call a showcase, where you put on 2 scenes in a theatre, and the theatre's full of casting directors and agents and all that sort of stuff. And then hopefully an agent says, yeah, come. Hopefully an agent and a casting director say, yeah, you represent him and I'll give him this job. And so that's how you kind of get in, or it used to be when I started anyway. Yeah.
Do you remember what scenes you did?
One of them I remember we wrote, which I think was a bit of a disaster. That was, I remember thinking it never quite worked. I can't remember anything about it, except I'm just working on it night after night with me and a friend and coming to the conclusion that neither of us can write, but we're too far down the line. We haven't got time to do anything else. And then one of them was a monologue from, did you ever see a film called How to Get Ahead in Advertising?
I don't think so. Sounds very familiar.
What's his name? The guy, he's amazing. Bruce Robinson wrote it. He wrote With Nell and I don't know if you ever saw that. If you didn't, that's a great film.
Okay.
But this Let's Get Ahead. Go on, sorry, go on.
We've got a list, is what I said.
We got a list.
I keep throwing stuff at you. But the How to Get Ahead in Advertising is really interesting. It's about an advertising executive in the 80s in London who grows a conscience, and the conscience manifests as a boil on his shoulder that gets bigger and bigger.
Oh.
Eventually starts talking to him, and it's like, and eventually takes over. So he's growing a conscience, but the boil is the evil side of him.
That sounds super familiar. I don't think I've seen it, but that plot sounds,
but it's really good. I don't know how it's aged though. That's a long time since I've seen it.
Sure. And so it sounds like you're also a huge fan of history here, or at least you really dig into it. Were you a fan of The Last Kingdom before you became involved in it?
No, I'd never. I'd heard of it because it pops up on the Netflix, like thumbnails. But no, I'd never watched it. I don't know why. Okay. Because actually, there's a lot of great TV, and my go-to kind of watches aren't generally historical or period. Gotcha. Although I spend half my career in historical stuff, it's not what I'm drawn to as an audience generally. Although I love to do it. So no, I hadn't seen it. It was when I got the job. I thought any second now, because there was a short time between getting the job and a plane ticket to Budapest. I thought I've got to study the history, and I've got to watch this series before I get the first script, because I know as soon as I get the script, I'm going to have to just focus. So I think I watched 4 seasons in 2 days, maybe 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's work.
Yeah, but I loved it, and I'm so glad I was forced to watch it. Yeah, such a great series.
Yeah, we were both. It was always something that kept being suggested to us back when Colby and I lived together. And we were looking for something to watch, and it was always like, I don't know. And I think that's partly why we initially loved it so much too, is because we first saw it and it was like something like, we passed on this like 8 times to watch these other mediocre shows.
It's always the way though, isn't it? I find that if someone says something's great, I tend to be disappointed, and if someone says, "Oh, that was terrible, don't watch it," I love it because of the expectation. But so if you've had a resistance to watching something, I think it's quite often like such a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so how did you become involved in the show?
same as everyone. I think I'd auditioned for it once before. I think years ago. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. But it was, yes, a self-tape came through, and it was a funny one because it's I get every now and again I get a self-tape come through where I think, okay, this isn't for me, and I could think of 20 Scottish actors just in my phone book who would do a better job of this than I would, but my wife always says, look, we've got to tape for it anyway, because every time you tape, I always try and set myself a new challenge to try and exercise some muscle that I'm not very strong on at every audition. And she said, let's do it and see what happens anyway. And if I find them embarrassing, I don't send them. And if I think, oh, it's probably okay, I do. And this was one of those where I thought, so not me, but let's send it anyway. And then, it came back with another Zoom meeting with the producers and everyone. And to my astonishment, I got it. And then I started hitting myself.
Nice.
You got to do it. Yeah. But
and can you maybe talk a little about the accent that you do? Because I know in one of your Instagram posts, you credit Ross Anderson for helping you,
yes,
achieve the accent and the lines and everything.
Yeah.
Was that difficult?
I found it difficult. I'm not. I can learn accents. Normally, I go to a coach or something, and I can get the hang of it. It takes me time, but I'm not one of those guys who has, who's in the bar and just can rip through 20
Sure.
accents. That's not me. I have one in my head, and then I stop it, and it disappears. I got the job, and I was really scared about the accent, and then I rang a friend of mine, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna. No one knows where this guy came from, really. He's a Pictish prince. That's like an enormous section of Scotland.
Sure.
I picked the bit that was right on the edge of Glasgow. I thought, let's say he comes from there. I rang a friend of mine who's from Glasgow, and I just said, look, here's the lines from my first scene, because the first scene I shot was in England. Can you record them for me a few different ways? And I'm just going to start getting used to it. When it came to a couple of days before the flight to Budapest, I knew I was going to be working with this character called Donald, played by Ross Anderson, who's an amazing actor, I think. But I didn't put two and two together. I saw that we're going to be on the same flight. I'm going to be on the same flight as a guy called Ross. And I thought, I'm really embarrassed because I know Ross is going to be Scottish, and I'm going to have to spend a whole season speaking Scottish in front of a real Scotsman. But then I thought, hang on, I know Ross. I'm sure this must be Ross Anderson. And we worked together in Prague about 7 years before on a Fox spy series. And I thought, oh, please be Ross Anderson. And then I got to the airport, there he was. I'm like, great. So then he recorded all my lines for me every time I had a scene, and we went out all the time. And I was just saying, just bear with me. If we go out for dinner, can I just speak in Scottish accent? And every time you hear something that's not okay, just slap me around the head. Don't be embarrassed. And so we worked. He was so patient, and we did it together for the whole time.
Wow,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, thank goodness. I grew up with his wife as well, which was really weird when I was a kid. Yeah. So actually, I connected to him since I was about 14 years old.
Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
Was there anything he was like, oh man, you've got to get better with this, or this is what you're really good at, even? What were some takeaways?
He was really generous about the whole thing. I mean, I'd done a lot of work before I got to him, but he just gave me loads of encouragement. Actually, there wasn't much that he slammed me for. Mm-hmm. Just pure encouragement.
That's awesome.
And he was always saying, the other thing is, no one in Scotland would have spoken with this accent back then. And
it's so true.
But then they wouldn't have been done in Saxon lands either, like they do. So I think they spoke more like you guys did back then, apparently.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Colby and Steve?
Like Colby and Steve.
Yeah, there you go. Just like you, Colby.
Yeah. Why do you say that?
I don't know. I read something. Actually, it's not this period, but I read something about what people around Shakespeare's time would have sounded like. And they think there's a kind of West Country accent here, which, as I said, I can't do accents, so I'm not going to pretend to mimic it. But you can kind of hear, okay, I could see how you could link that to kind of an American accent. Sort of
interesting.
In the same way that you can with Irish a little bit. And so they were saying it would have been more exaggerated and closer to American than it would be to how I sound now. But
interesting.
How do they know?
Interesting. Yeah. Now, it sounds like, again, you did a lot of research for this role, which we love to hear. Did you use Bernard Cornwell's books at all?
Yeah, I did. Only the ones that were relevant to me, but I read them, loved them, actually. Have you read them?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I'm starting to read the ones that season 5 covers because we found the show first. And we wanted the show to spoil what happens, if you know what I mean. So now I'm starting those books, but I've read up until season 5. Okay. So 8 books, right? And then
you've done well.
Yeah, we read up to then, and then I just so Colby wouldn't get any spoilers, I took the hit and I read like the last 2 before we went and spoke with it
because we had a live chat with him.
And I was like, well, we've got to know how it ends. You know,
I watched that one too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
That was a
charming guy. He's hilarious.
He's so sharp and well spoken. He's so well spoken.
And before we started chatting too, he was even more funny with us and he showed us this rugby injury he had and he was just a cool guy.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I really enjoyed it. But no, the books are great, aren't they? They're really so easy to read, so well researched.
Yeah.
And I did. I found they gave me loads of little valuable bits of character work and stuff like that. It's so nice to have this, where you've got all the historical resources, you've got podcasts on these characters, you've got the books to refer to, and all of it you can take, and the amazing script, and you can pick and choose what you find most useful, and create a character as a kind of cocktail of all these different sources.
Yeah.
Just a gift.
And so one huge thing we love about your character is just his personality. He is very authoritative, yet he's jovial. He is also, when we find out when he talks to Elfwin, a good guy, which we weren't sure about when we first meet him.
Yeah.
And did you get anything from your research that gave you bits about his personality, like the historical figure's personality? I mean, I know that's hard because of history. Yeah. But was there anything?
Not in what you've kind of mentioned. That I can't imagine he wasn't incredibly smart. He was He was a real politician, and he had a strong faith. But I actually, some of that, I mean, most of what you're talking about came from just the script and the directors, but we hadn't really seen much of the Scots in The Last Kingdom, and I wouldn't mind him sort of coming somewhere between a Dane and a Saxon.
I was going to say that, that's crazy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's a joy of life which you sometimes miss in the Saxons, but not the kind of anarchy of the Danes. So yeah, I wanted him to really love life. But yeah, when I read the one with Elfwin, that really turned it for me as well, because I hadn't seen that initially, and I loved that scene. But that was made even more interesting by John East, the director of that episode.
Okay,
he's so brilliant. I mean, every element of directing, but he can see even a slight glaze in your eye, and where you have like a barrier you can't kind of cross. And he must have seen something in a rehearsal with that and said, "Oh, hang on, here's how we transform this scene. Let me talk to you about this woman you're in love with, and then we can hinge everything on that, and what she's done for you in your life, and that creates the empathy you need to have with Elfwin." And it was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Wow. Completely transformed it. Yeah. I went into that not knowing exactly how to do it, actually.
Interesting. And so is there sort of a backstory for this woman that Constantine loved? Like, is there
Only in a general sense. Like we didn't pick this must be Lord so and so's wife.
Right.
But it is that kind of thing. It's an important political relationship for Constantine that he can't mess around with, and this is the wife of that person, and so I have to be careful. It has to be kind of hidden, and certainly never, you could never marry her or anything like that. But what he said was that he imagined that Constantine isn't like PTSD or anything like that, but he's had a life of total brutality, starting with his father being murdered when he was 6 years old, and then he's fought the Vikings, and he's fought the Saxons, and he's fought against the Picts, of which he is one.
Right.
And he's had this really tough life, and the whole time he's had to display machismo and authority, and it's not healthy for anybody. And then must at some point, you need an escape or you're going to go crazy. And he said this woman is what allowed him to explore the feminine side and the sensitivity. And so, he said that's what's made you be able to empathize with Elfwin.
Wow. Yeah. And so after getting that sort of cue, did you feel like you were able, like in the moment, to nail that scene? Because it's true, you do nail it. Both of you do, and in that scene.
Yeah, this is the scene where I knew that who Colby was talking about. Actually, before the more of the awesome stuff happens at the end, I was like, this is the guy Colby likes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope so. You're giving me encouraging words. I couldn't say if I nailed it, but
did you? I guess I asked. Did you feel like at the time? Did you feel like you nailed it, or? You said you were a little uncertain, like about how to approach it.
I'll tell you, I was a little uncertain. Sometimes you work on a scene and you haven't really done it with the other character. You haven't been directed. You don't know. See, the thing is, it's a weird job. You put in an awful lot of work, and you have to be able to throw all the work away just so you're not thinking while you're doing it. You think, okay, it's all there, so forget it now, and let's just play the scene. But also, you have to be able to throw it away, because when you walk into a room, I used to find, I thought the chair was going to be over here and there'd be a table here, and now it's not. And I've been thinking everything's over here, and somehow it can jar you a little bit. So you have to be able to you learn to throw it all away. And so sometimes you walk into a scene not knowing quite what it's going to turn out to be, and you explore it in the moment. You just have to be awake, basically, and remember to listen to somebody. And it can work out. So, but I can't say I nailed that scene, but what I did feel was incredibly excited doing it, and at the end of it, I was over the moon with the way it had gone, with the direction and everything. So yeah,
cool. Yeah, it was such a memorable scene at that point in the show. So well done on that, to everyone involved too.
Yeah, and after that one, the next time that I knew that this was the guy Colby was talking about was Bevan Burr, the charge out of the gate. Oh my God.
Yeah.
This was amazing. Constantine takes the kneel down first, with the sword, and then just goes out, and he's just trucking people. Like, it was amazing.
Not only, but he's a king too, who's the first one out the gate. He doesn't let his other men. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love doing that. That's a very unusual thing for me to have to do, but I love. I'll tell you one thing: the kneeling down thing, praying. That was because I thought that wasn't in the script, and I was saying to John, you know what? I don't remember seeing the Saxons fighting anyone who wasn't a pagan, really. And that probably has occurred, and you'll know better than I will. But I thought we need to show that this is two Christian armies coming in head to head, because it's sort of unusual. And then he took that and he ran with it, and he'd actually had an edit previously where when Constantine was praying, he was treating it like a kind of visualization exercise that an athlete might have before a race.
That's what it felt like.
He was flashing the fight in, and I guess it was too long or something. But yeah, I loved it. That was exhausting work, but I loved it. In the whole sequence, if it ran, without being edited, I think it's because I had to film it to learn it. And I think it was about 16 seconds long or something, the whole sequence. And he kills 17 people. This guy is nuts. Yeah.
It's got to be a record.
Yeah,
it's got to be a record. That's awesome.
Was there something he was saying during that prayer? Was there something specific that you thought of? He was just that he did say when he took the knee?
No, I just think no, there wasn't. No, the answer is I could make stuff up, but no, nothing specific. Just a prayer. I can't remember what I was thinking in that moment. But I guess protect me kind of thing.
Just getting in the zone. Getting in the zone right
looked
before.
Like it was like getting in the zone.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love that part. But did you have any fighting experience before coming into the show?
At college, you do it for 3 years. You do stage fighting with all different kinds of weapons, and I was okay at that. But no, in the work I've got, no, not a lot. The odd gun. I've been punched a few times. I've been killed a number of times, but I've done some swordcraft in plays since college, but no. I basically said, look, you've got your work cut out for you if you want me to swing a sword around. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an old man, and this is going to kill me. I can't even hold the handle and make it look like I know what I'm doing. As soon as I touch the handle, I've shown you I know nothing. And I turned up to stunt rehearsal like this, and they're all laughing at me. And Mark said, I saw you rehearsing that fight, and it looked like a middle-class guy arguing over his garden hedge with his neighbor about mowing.
That's a good confidence builder.
Yeah, confidence. But I had that weeks in advance. It changed dramatically on the days. I had to be a bit flexible, but I had it weeks in advance. And so every day, every time I had a little break, I went through it 5-6 times, maybe 5 or 6 times a day, just to get the steps in. And then think, okay, so now my feet know what they're doing. Then I'll do the arms. And then you start working on, this was Ross actually, because I hadn't even thought about this because he's done more fighting. He's saying then once you've got all the moves fluid, then you want to start thinking about when you notice someone coming, because there's a temptation to just swing a sword and kill that person, but you've got to see it to react to it. And so then you start layering in those kind of bits. And eventually it builds into something hopefully looks like it could actually be happening.
It looked awesome. I mean, like when I was watching it, when after you came out of the gates, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of want him to win now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I think that's on our reaction video.
I was like, push him off the cliffs.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do it.
Come on. I felt sorry for Constantine. He didn't do anything wrong this whole series.
No.
He didn't try and invade anybody. He's just being told they're all coming for him, and he's got this little Scotland, this newborn Scotland to protect.
Yeah. He's just doing all he needs to do to defend it, and I also love when Ethelhelm is like, "Don't fight. Why would you fight?" And you're just like, "I didn't take you for a coward." And all the lines before that, where everyone's like, "Let's just prepare for a siege," and you're like, "To sit and wait, it's not in my blood."
So not
cool.
Honorable. You can't. It's not how you behave. It's not how things are done. Now, I think, I thought one thing that was really sure of him was he's a real man of his word. I say I'll do it, I'll do it. And honor, very important. Which I think means there's certain people I decided he would like Uhtred. I think he would respect Uhtred.
Yeah,
and I thought
that too.
Yeah. And who was the other guy? Yahya, Whitgar's right-hand man. Thought there's a guy who gets stuff done. I like this guy.
That great line you have with him where you're like, you're his man, but he's my man.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. But no, there's a certain type of guy I think Constantine would like, and those are the kinds. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like Constantine just takes control of the room, like every time he walks in.
Yes, yeah, which is fun because, like I said, it's so not me. I've really enjoyed it. It's nice to kind of exercise these things. You know?
That's cool.
What are the big differences between Rod and Constantine? What do you feel?
Well, I oh dear, this is a strange thing to say, but I'm quite shy person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm quite quiet. I'm quite laid back. I've never hit anybody in my life. I'm not in any way macho. Nothing of that.
Okay.
No. So yeah, it's nice to explore.
Do you have any similarities with Constantine?
I think I would have a similar kind of experience with Elfwin, probably. Like, whoa, sure. Don't worry about this. It's going to be okay.
Sure.
I think I try and stick to my word. I know I really enjoy life.
Sure.
I'm not particularly into formality, and let's go with that.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And you said like you think that you would respect Uhtred, and I think there is at that last scene after the battle.
Yeah,
you go and you still try to like lay down a little law there, and Uhtred just isn't going for it, and you're like, I tried, I'll still accept the deal. But it seems like there's respect between the two characters there.
Yeah, I really think there would be, and the director thought that too. So did Alex, and I don't know spoilers for the book, but it comes across in the book as well. And I mean, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? He's a warrior. He's honorable. He does what he says he's going to do. He's not like he's like the total antithesis of Ethelhelm. He loves him. So yeah, we were enjoying playing with that a little bit. We laughed a lot during that scene. So it was, everyone was corpsing. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on. Every time I looked him in the eyes, we started laughing. But yeah, we managed to get there in the end.
Oh, good. Yeah. But was there anything for you coming in as the last season here? I know they're doing the movie afterwards, but was there anything that they were telling you, like, this is the scope we need, this is what was there any sort of emphasis put on you?
No, there wasn't actually. That's a good point. There was no. Another thing I really liked about it, the trust they put in you was amazing.
That's awesome.
Like you really felt it, and I always think with anything in life, if you're not going to take risks, you're not going to do anything interesting. So you've got to allow yourself the chance to fail. And something about the way everyone behaved, from producers across the full spectrum, felt like you were free to take risks, and we trust you with what you're going to do. They directed you as you were filming scenes, but they felt like they knew they were in safe hands. They made me feel like they're saying that we're in safe hands, which is amazing. And everyone was so welcoming. I know you've heard that before, but
yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is not a normal job. People are amazing on it. Yeah. So actually, one big regret is that I came in season 5.
Yeah.
It could have been season 1, and I could have had this fun for 5 years or 7 years or whatever.
But you had an amazing character where it was so great. But why I did ask you, like, you were in a lot of pivotal scenes too in this last season. I mean, you meet up with most of the main characters. You introduce the Scots to us. You kill Heston. You talk with Uhtred when he gets Bebbanburg. I mean, there was so many.
Yeah, that's true. There's
scenes.
They're quite pivotal moments. Heston. I love Heston. He's one of my favorite characters.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, mate. I'm so sorry. It's not me. Blame the writer. That was a fun scene. I really like working with him. Just love.
We love Jeppe Beck Larsen, who plays Heston. Great guy. We've talked to him twice.
Yeah, he keeps in touch with us a lot. It's he's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's really fun. He's really fun.
Was there anything going into his like death scene? Was there anything going into that was like that you guys worked on together, or anything he asked for?
No, hang on. Well, I'd met him in England because we did. Mm-hmm. There were scenes on a beach, and he was filming on the same beach. So we had a couple of beers that night. But I didn't know I was going to kill him when we met. And then he was gone for a while, and then he moved into the same apartment block that I was living in. But we now actually, funny enough, we met up because there was a courtyard, and we'd sometimes all cook dinner and eat together outside in the summer sun. It was lovely. And he came to a few of those, but actually we never talked about it. It was just on set. But no, I felt a big arc for somebody is coming to an end. A big part of their life as well is coming to an end here. And whatever you need. But actually, it just worked really nicely. And he was really kind about it. Said, I'm strange sentence. I'm really glad it was you who killed me. And which was very sweet. And I just watched and admired him. Dying.
That's the best thing you could say to someone. I'm glad it was you.
Thanks for killing.
I'm glad it was you.
Anyone, I'd have you.
Yeah. And that scene offers a lot of tension too, because you're not quite sure if Constantine's going to let him live here.
Yeah.
Heston's.
Yeah. I tried to make it look like there's a glimmer of hope after he tries to do it, but there's such a horrible irony, isn't it? That the moment he does a really altruistic thing, he's all for it. Poor guy. He's never going to in his life. Suddenly thinks, no, I'm going to do the right thing.
I feel like he survived so long doing the opposite,
Yeah.
And
it really worked for him.
And this time, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they kept it going.
Right, yeah. There's something though that's sort of it's cool, that it's like that. And that he laid it, that character switch at the end is interesting.
I loved it. Yeah. And also I think if a series is coming to an end anyway, it's always quite nice to die in it.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about the relationship with Aelfwin, because there's the moment when the battle's about to start and Ethelhelm's like, let's get married, let's go quick.
Yeah.
And as soon as somebody comes in and you're just immediately like, okay, Aelfwin, go to the room. I think Wickgar comes in and says she needs to get to safety.
Yeah, that's right.
Was there any was Constantine trying just to delay the marriage, do you think? Or was it truly he just wants to get her safe right now?
No, I see why you asked that. No, not in my mind.
No, okay.
It was, I think he just had no doubts that he's going to be victorious, I think.
True.
And so there's no rush on this. And
gotcha.
She needs to be kept safe. And so Wickgar comes. I realize, I haven't seen the series yet, but I've seen that scene. And it does seem like a fast transition to okay, let's get married. No, she should go upstairs. Yeah, go upstairs. But no, I in my mind, it was purely about protection.
Yeah, I just got to get to the battle now. There's no time for this kind of thing. And the other thing I was going to ask back to the Heston scene was when you do kill Heston, obviously you're trying to get information out of him. He's snuck into this place and he's lying. But is there also anything that you're mad at him for trying to, in what Constantine's eyes would be, steal Aelfwin or take Aelfwin?
Yeah, he's crossed a line.
Right.
I don't know what's happened, but she's running scared, and that's my dander's up. That's not okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's furious with him.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got that little old school chivalry, I think, in his own crazy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We also talked about after the battle too, you charge out, and then you are working on pushing the Edward's whole army off the cliffs. What was that like? And we were told it was really just a patch of grass they were trying to not cross. But what was that scene like?
That thing there, can you see that? That's the cliff. Where? Where would you mean? Yeah, the little dot on the ground is the cliff. No, we were in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
No cliffs for probably 15 miles in any direction. On a
long way to push.
A long way to push. Yeah, you cross that line and they're falling. Yeah, really hot day.
That's what Harry said. It was really hot.
It was really hot. I think it's not stupid. I can't remember 36, 37, which is what, about 108, 110 Fahrenheit or something. But I think it's the stuff, layers and layers of really not very breathable material. And
you have this like fur thing too, right? Like on your shoulder.
It's not very helpful. Oh. And I think, but what I realized eventually was the most exhausting thing is screaming. You can push, you can swing around shields and swords, but the bit that really tires you out is shouting. I didn't realize that. And he's shouting so loud. I didn't mean to do that, but you can't really help it. And then you start running towards people. I thought, I'm not going to scream at anybody. I don't want to do it like that. And then as soon as you start running towards someone with a sword, you're screaming and tiring yourself out. It just sort of happens. I can't remember season 1 and 2, maybe. He was Guthrum a guy? Guthrum?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dark-haired, long dark hair.
Yes, in season 1. Mm-hmm.
Season 1. I loved how he played it.
Yeah,
so
he was great.
It was like dangerous, but rarely kind of ruffled. Just always speaking, even in the middle of a battle. Will send men. It was so. I loved that performance.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. I got in a battle and screamed.
Absolutely. And I think Constantine has that sort of cool demeanor too. But I mean, I love how he laughs a lot, even in times where it doesn't seem like he should be laughing. Everybody else is serious, and he's always like,
he's always enjoying stuff, and he comes out with that nonsense advice as well. Like, that's not going to be useful advice. Never meet a bride on an empty stomach. Well done, mate. I've met guys like that at the pub. Drunk guys in the pub offering advice, and you just have to, that's great advice. Thanks for that. He had an element of that as well. But I like that. That's what I want. Yeah, he has fun. He enjoys it. So I wanted to put that in there.
He was always stirring the pot too with Ethelhelm and his grandson too.
Yeah.
Don't trust an advisor or something. Never trust.
Yeah, exactly. He really would have hated Ethelhelm.
Oh yeah,
he's an absolute nightmare, that guy. Yeah. So this poor boy, not quite beyond saving. Let's put a wedge in there. This guy's not a trustworthy guy.
Right. Yeah.
But, I love all those things with him. He's great, Adrian. I love working with him.
He really did amazing this season. I mean, he was great the seasons before, but he went to another level this season. Yeah,
and a lot of tricky stuff to do. Have you ever spoken with him?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
I missed that one. I'll have to watch that. Yeah, he's really interesting.
Yes.
Days of my life I've spent with him, just laughing and joking around. He's great.
Who were some of your favorite people to work with on the show?
I really one of my favorite characters is, I don't know, we worked together, do we? Finnan. I don't think I had anything.
You probably would have been in the same place at the same time.
You yelled out some stuff at the courtyard to him, and
so I'm a big fan of his. As an audience, that's one of my favorite. I just think he's a great character. But I was really
and the scene too where they get captured, and you're like, that's not my men.
Of course. I haven't seen that yet. Forgot about that. Oh, and he does a Scottish accent.
And he like fakes the Scottish accent.
that was hilarious.
Love that.
I would have been very excited, because you got to bear in mind that the thing is, I did, like I said, I watched all 4 series in a very short space of time, and I'm a really good audience. I just want to throw myself in and invest and believe and get excited, and I kind of switch off the this is something I'm working on, and this is for research. I'm now suddenly an audience, and then they walk in to the enormous, set where there's Winchester, there's Aylesbury, and I'm a fan. I'm an audience. I'm not an actor. And then you meet people, and I'm the same. I remember meeting Mark and being, I mean, I haven't done this for years with really famous actors, just like hello, mate. Yeah, you know, we're working together, kind of thing. You know, Mark, I fell apart. Yeah, and I couldn't get a sentence out. It's really funny. Really funny. Yeah, I love working with him. I love working with Alex because I think Alex is amazing. Yeah. My friend Ross Anderson, I adored. Everyone. I really love working with Whitgar.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's great. Whitgar, Alex, Ross, and I all trained in the same way. So exactly the same kind of acting education. And so it's not that it matters if you didn't at all. There's no barriers between you, but it's really nice when you understand all the same vocabulary and the same technique.
Right.
Yeah. So when you sit down to work on a scene, you know you can use the terminology you studied at college, and so that's really nice. Yeah. So I love working with him as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a lot of great scenes with
the whole time. Ocean.
Yeah, is he really? Yeah. He's great.
Thinking all the time. What kind of never stops.
Yeah, and I think your first scene when we see you it's a really big scene because it introduces you, but it's also a critical scene because it reintroduces Whitgar.
It does. It does.
You know,
a big reveal on him.
Right, and then you ask, "Who are you?" You know, and it pans, and that was a pretty awesome moment. And you had kind of been teased the whole season before that too. I think we were like, "Who is this Constantine guy?" They keep talking about King Constantine. Mm-hmm. He's not going to like if we go to Lindisfarne, all that, and
yeah. It's funny enough, it's a bit like that in the books, I seem to remember as well.
Mm-hmm.
You hear it. I remember folding down pages on one of the books, and every time you hear Constantine mentioned, anything about him, just in case there's some piece of information, there must be, I don't know, 90 pages folded down, and yet you meet him in person 3 times maybe.
Yeah, and the book is like only through Uhtred's perspective too, so it's another awesome thing about The Last Kingdom is we get to see the scenes where Constantine is plotting, where he's just talking to his men, like, you know, I'm going to keep my word for as long as necessary, you know.
Yeah.
That's a great thing about the show.
Yeah, really. That's interesting. I know I hadn't thought of that. Of course. That's really interesting. It makes it totally different.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah.
Even going back to season 1, there's a scene the first time we meet Alfred.
Right.
That scene is in the first book, but Uhtred was actually spying on them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like when Alfred's first revealed, and it's not in the Palace of Winchester. It's like in a tent somewhere. Mm-hmm. But that scene was in it. But then a lot of the Alfred scenes, you know, I guess it gave them a lot of freedom to do what they wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. I might go back and read these books. They're so fun.
Just for the joy of it. They're great. I'm excited now to be able to read these 2 because I've been waiting so long, and then I'm going to wait again because I want to see the movie first, and then I'll finish the series. But
Warlord, yeah, it's great. Great book, that one. I love that one.
So, did you have any particular scenes that were your favorite to shoot?
First thing I should say is I've rarely enjoyed playing a guy as much as this one, and every scene. Mm-hmm. I mean, this sounds like I'm just painting everything for in a good light for you guys, but it was a gift every day being able to play the guy. I remember really loving the first scene I had with Ethelhelm, which is that really long one, I think in episode 7,
mm-hmm.
where he starts trying to make me think, oh, Edward's coming, he's an imperialist and he's coming. There's so much going on with that, and I'm the whole time trying to work out, I don't trust you, but what is your angle here?
Yeah.
And I remember really loving that.
Interesting.
And I have 2 dogs in the scene, and I love dogs.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So I comment on that in the video.
Okay.
And our reaction video. We did reaction videos for the whole season. I was like, oh, sweet. Look at those dogs. They're awesome.
So beautiful, those dogs.
And you do this thing. Constantine does this thing a couple times where seemingly the conversation in the scene has ended, and whoever he was talking to is walking out of the room, and he's like, "Oh, by the way,"
you know. Yeah, I think it's a kind of power play.
Yeah, make sure I get the last word. Make sure.
Yeah, and I'll let you think you're doing what you want to do for as long as I possibly can, and then just remind you who's in charge here.
Yeah. That's a cool. Was that in the script, that kind of thing?
Let me think. No, both times that was. So the first time I remember doing that was in that scene I was just talking about with Ethel, and I say, leave me to dwell on it, and I'll talk to my commanders or something.
Yeah, you say something like, "I'm intrigued. That's no inconsiderable feat."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. So don't go too far or whatever. That was Anthony Phillipson said, no, let him get all the way to the door.
Cool.
I thought, that's great. Really see there's where a director makes things better for you. And the second time, no, it was John. John said, no, let him get to the door. And then say, no, let's wait for that. Whatever the line was, I can't remember.
It's actually a brilliant small thing. It's small, it's not something I don't know if everyone's going to notice, but like, I think that it just adds to Constantine's authority, just his authoritative nature.
It does. It's so that's the great thing is everyone. I love that. I love that about what we do for a living. I felt it more on this than in a lot of things where it's such a collaborative thing, and you're working with so many hundreds of people all for the same goal. Right. And so even if it's your character that you're putting all the work into, I remember Anthony talking about it with saying, no, we need the camera here and the lighting needs to be like that because we've got to turn these two actors into kings here. They got to look like kings. So the photography is helping with that, and obviously the incredible wardrobe and makeup and all that is helping with it. So everybody is working towards the same goal, which is one of the most brilliant parts about it. But moments like that aren't me; they're created by someone else's genius.
Did you have any input into your costume or your physical look at all?
The costume, I saw a painting of it from Ralph who designed them, and I don't want any input on that. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Once I saw it, amazing. He was very generous about it. Said, look, you can change anything you like. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be able to move and fight and all that. I want to keep you cool in summer, warm in winter, But I just thought, no, I mean, that's perfect. I love it. And then, with the makeup, well, there was, again, I was given freedom to veto stuff, but I didn't want to. They had ideas that I loved. This wig, this hair, but we all agreed as it turned out. And
it's awesome.
Also helpful. Yeah, amazing.
How long did the makeup take? Because I know you put a video on Instagram. It looked like it took a little while, and
it does. It probably, when there's no blood, it probably takes about an hour and 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
But she does it so well because I can't see in the mirror where the wig is. I can't see it, and normally you can kind of tell. So Hilda, who does it, is unbelievably brilliant at it. But it took a while. But then the longest it would ever take is if you've done a fight and you've got blood on you, and then you wrap, and then you come back 2 days later to pick up from the same moment. So then you have all the normal stuff, but then you've got to match the blood spattered spots, and that can take an hour just doing it.
Yeah. Interesting. And so on that hot day when you guys are pushing the shield over, is that tough when you have the makeup on and the because I imagine there's a lot of sweat, there's a lot of grittiness,
bit of embarrassing amount of sweat just handing over those clothes at the end of the day. So sorry. Can I take them home and wash them? The makeup doesn't bother me. Eventually the wig starts to get like
itchy.
It gets itchy when you're sweating underneath it. The leather does just, you trap everything. I don't know how much weight you must lose. And when you get near refreshment, the amount you can just pour into it is like filling up a jug.
You must have been exhausted at the end of it. Like that, everyone. I mean, it's like that just looks intense and
it is, and then
awesome.
you do it over and over and over again. Actually, the worst. Like I said, shouting is really exhausting. But shouting and running, and that field, it looks like just flat, long grass, but it's actually underneath. It's ploughed and it's gone really hard, and so it's ridged the whole time.
Gotcha. Okay.
But when you're running, you don't know what your foot's going to do when it lands. Is it going to kink forward or backwards? Or I think I do this another time. I swear I'm breaking an ankle. Please. But yeah, there was a moment where I thought, please don't ask for another one, because I actually don't think I can stand up.
Wow.
I don't think I can do another one. But you revitalize, and they have some ice. You guys would know more about this than I would. Some kind of isotonic cocktail that you drink, and suddenly you're like, oh, okay, I've got some vitamins back. Back into it. Is that the right word, isotonic?
Yeah, cocaine, right? Is it?
I didn't know about that bit.
I'm not sure. It could be. Do you know, Steve?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I'm sure there's something. There's a lot of different things that you can take, like C4 or something, to keep going.
Yeah, if it's like a pre-workout or an energy drink. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's all that. I guess it's for athletes and
totally
stuff. Yeah. How's it going with you guys? Because you graduated not that long ago. Is that right?
Oh, we're coming on 2 years, couple of years now, working. Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, so a lot of the videos that you saw where we would have said that would have been sort of when season 4 came out.
Okay, yeah. That makes
so
sense.
we've we're working as PTs now.
Having fun?
So absolutely.
You're still in New York. I took a travel contract, so I left PA. I'm near DC now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little more end up anywhere kind of thing. But it's nice. It's nice to get to do something different.
Did you meet training?
Yeah, we met. We were both looking for a place to live when we were in PT school, and actually, Colby had like sent an email out like asking for roommates, and I was like, that's kind of weird. Someone's asking for roommates, but then I reached out to this landlord that my other buddy told me to talk to, and we just ended up, him and I and 2 other guys ended up just moving in. And we became really good friends. I mean, all of us. It was definitely a little tough for guys, living together, sharing one bathroom. But I thought we all became really good friends, and then eventually Colby and I would say, really became probably the best friends, best friends anyone's ever had.
Ever had.
And we just started watching movies and
that was our release from school when school was stressful. Yeah
cool. Yeah, we all do that, definitely. It's a good way of clearing your mind out, isn't it? Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah,
but now you're not together, you're in different states. That's
why we started this.
That's why we started it, was because we were both going to be leaving, and like I had never had any other like guy friends that I wanted to stay in touch with, because like I grew up playing football and stuff, but like those guys, I love them. I love those guys, but like they weren't the guys I always wanted to hang out outside of football and stuff. And then so when I met a guy that like we just clicked on everything. I was like, I want to keep you. Can we like do a podcast? We can keep nerding about our shows and stuff.
And that was the only reason we wanted to do it, was just to keep in touch.
That's great. What an amazing story.
And when COVID happened, actually, it gave us the opportunity to like, okay, let's see if someone wants to come on the podcast and chat with us, because we loved The Last Kingdom way before we started the podcast.
Right.
And we were just talking about this last night, like how lucky we feel to be doing things like this. Right. Because we were just 2 random fans in Pennsylvania who we couldn't stop talking about the show then. And to be able to continue talking about it and getting a lot of other fans commenting and having conversations with them is like, we couldn't have imagined, and being able to talk to the cast and crew, we couldn't have imagined that opportunity ever. So we just feel very fortunate to be able to do things like this.
Yeah, it's great. And you're really good at it.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate that. We we just love to learn more things about the show we love, and but yeah.
Oh, what a great story.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah.
So thanks again. That you came on. It's been,
Yeah. And for real, you were one of our like favorite characters from this season. Like Colby was literally like, he texted me and he's like, Steve, there's this guy, like we've got to have him on. Like you're gonna see him near the end. And I'm just like, okay, all right. And it was that scene with Elfwin. Is it Elfwin? Yes. There's so many elves. And
even before that though, I loved his presence. Like I don't know, he didn't take anything, he didn't take any bullshit, and he was I don't know, something, just the wisdom he had was awesome.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. I do want to mention one line that he says, a line I love. Sieges are for turds.
Yeah. There was a lot of turds in the script. I found turds a really hard word to say in a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Because it's got that kind of tapped kind of R. I don't know what they call it. Like guttural. Yeah, there's like almost tongue roll, but you try and only do one, not but just one tap. And so guttural and turds is one of those. And to try and shout that out, I found like, oh, please, can we get rid of some of these turds? I know, you're a turd.
Get rid of some of the turds.
Yeah. So sieges are for turds. I think there were about 3 others, and I was like, oh, please, I can't do it.
Oh my God.
Too much my accent.
There's this hilarious video online of a Scottish guy trying to pronounce hard words, like particularly. Have you seen that? He's like particularly. Just crazy words like that.
Sometimes really, I don't know how because when I was talking to Ross about it, there are certain sentences when those R's come up. If it's like 3 in a row, I was saying, well, you can't roll each one of them, and he's like, no, you can't. I said, so which one? Where do you? He's like, just pick the one. Yeah. And he said, try it out with. But evidently, the natural Glaswegian accent. They don't always do it. You just choose it. It's funny. Right. No, it's like I'm going to pronounce this word properly, but not these two because it's too exhausting.
No,
I was going to say, and I mean, you do a great job of the accent because we've been watching the show Outlander.
Yeah.
Because that's also coming out right now, and so we've been hearing a lot of Scottish accents, and there was no time I think when you were talking that we were like, oh, he's not naturally. That's not his natural accent. There was no moment where we thought that.
Yeah, watching the show, I was like, yeah, the guy's definitely Scottish for sure.
That's music to my ears. I'm good. I'm really glad about that. And Mark was really sweet about it as well.
Yeah.
What did he think? What do you think?
He thought at the very, very end, he said it to me a couple of times, almost my first day, because I stayed in the accent all day. I couldn't just risk turning it on and off. I tried one day because I thought I've got no lines today, but it was a battle scene and they said, scream something. I can't remember what it was. And I screamed it and it came out English. And I thought, never doing that again. And so he was saying that, your accent's amazing. And then at the end, he said, I love what you did. And please, can I thank you for getting the Scottish accent right, which I was so chuffed about. But it's funny. Because I was thinking, I know Scottish accents, are they going to be upset that an English guy's doing it? But there was a moment when I was on set, we were in Bebbanburg, certainly in the set of Bebbanburg. I don't know if we were actually filming there. It might have been out on the street or something. But anyway, Mark was there. And Eva Berthistle, who plays Hill.
Yeah, love her.
Was there. Yeah, she's amazing. I did my first ever job with her, actually. We
wow.
Husband and wife like 25 years ago. So it's just the 3 of us talking on a break. And I suddenly noticed, I'm talking in the Scottish accent, and I suddenly noticed there's someone from England, someone from Ireland, someone from Scotland, and none of us are playing the country. You're Scots playing Irish, you're Irish playing English, I'm English playing
That's
Scottish.
Funny.
Yeah. But no, he was very sweet about it. Good. So I'm really glad to hear that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And do you have any other favorite moments from like on the set, like maybe not when you're shooting, but is there anything that sticks out to you that was funny or memorable?
There's a lot. I mean, there's loads.
Sure.
Like in terms of like hilarious stories, I probably haven't, but I'll tell you things I loved with it. Arnus is, he's coming because there's music playing, and
Okay, cool.
nothing makes me happier than hearing good music, and he just comes with a speaker wherever he is.
Really?
Awesome.
Transforms the place immediately. Please, can I get to work in Arnus's car? And I'm just spending the whole time shazamming when I'm with. Oh, what's this? And so I love that. And sometimes that you get like these crazy. They seem crazy where you're just sitting in the sun on a chair while people are killing each other in a shield wall 20 meters away, and Arnus is listening to, generally in those moments, something quite either very like gentle classical music, or like kind of, I don't know how else to describe, like cheesy kind of almost porn music.
Oh my god!
Yeah, exactly. Austin Powers would turn this on.
That's hilarious.
And then there's this thing going on. So I love that. That's crazy. But they mess around so much when they're not on camera that it's just hilarious all the time. And there was one that made me die, but I don't think it will sound very fun. Was Cavan, who plays Pierre. Yeah. He was walking back off the battlefield, and Arnus was just screaming directions at him. This is happening. This is happening. And he was nailing the response to it. Even like, okay, so now lasers are coming. He's shouting it across the field. Lasers are shooting at you from the sky, Cavan. And dodging, and then now you've been shot, Cavan. Now you've been shot. And there was he fell over and by an enormous felled tree. And I thought, I know he's going to hit this tree. And he landed on it and then picked it up and threw it in the air and dropped it. Oh, it was a foam tree or something. I don't know.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but he just did it for 7 or 8 minutes. It was just, he didn't give up. It was hilarious. Yeah, but they're always moving around, and it's great fun.
It's so awesome to hear that you guys have a lot of fun on set, because I'm sure not every job is like that. Some are probably more serious. I mean, you guys are serious. I don't mean that, but like some might not have that humor on set, I'm sure. But
no, they don't. This is really rare. I reckon. I don't know. In my experience, it's about this level of welcome and fun and support and all those amazing things that it could be. Probably every 10 years, I'd say.
Yeah. You
get on, occasionally you're on a set where there's something problematic, some ego that doesn't work. But most of the time it's just people are very serious, on and off. And it's really helpful to be able to throw it all away when you're not on set, and just relax and kick back, because it recharges you when you do go back, because you immediately go back to being serious. So I think it's a really helpful thing, but it's not very common. And I don't know, you must need a couple of quite influential personalities to transform the whole thing. But also, I think the kindness of the whole thing comes down from Alex. The crew, producers, and all that are the same. It's a really welcoming, decent, generous job. But in terms of the cast, Alex is immediately incredibly kind, warm, generous.
Cool.
Takes care of everything. He goes out of his way. I don't know how he has time to do it. And it seems to filter down.
That's awesome.
So bad ego wouldn't be tolerated.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool to hear that kind of stuff. I mean, it just makes us love the show more to know that's going on, which is awesome. Now, you mentioned you love hearing good music. Just curious, what's your favorite style of music? What style of music do you like to listen to?
I really like kind of old soul and R&B.
Cool.
I mean, a lot, that kind of thing. But I'm trying to explore jazz. I moved to America for a couple of years. And okay, while we're here, let's explore American music more. And so I went into kind of old, like, country and bluegrassy kind of stuff. I'm just not very good on the names of these things.
Yeah.
Bluegrass, but I really went into jazz which I'm still learning about, and I love that. But really, the thing that was soul and R&B and blues and nothing I don't like actually.
Where did you live in the U.S.?
I was in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, yeah. And do you play an instrument, or do you just like to listen?
I like to listen. I'm really impressively bad at guitar. So if you ever want to see someone really mess that up,
all right.
But I'm not. I've learned a few, but no.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
You guys, one of you guys is guitarist. Oh, you're in a band.
Yeah. Our intro music is if you've heard our intro stuff,
that's
and our
Colby.
outro.
That's Colby, man.
Our band, but
amazing.
Thanks.
I wish I could do that.
And we know there's a lot of musicians on set. Like we know Tim Innes is a drummer, and obviously Arnest. I know he does like a lot of DJ stuff, and always messing around, like you said, coming up. So that's cool.
And he's got little portable decks, so whenever there's something happening afterwards, oh great, we've got a DJ. Tim's amazing.
Yeah.
And he's
cool.
like a fencing champion as well, I think.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah, I do remember.
Yeah.
He was a fencer. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What else are you watching or watch or read, or what are you into outside of Last Kingdom here?
What I'm watching at the moment, which I think is amazing. Have you seen Severance yet?
No, and you're the second person to
what is
Harry Severance.
Harry
Anton told us to watch it as well. We haven't had the chance yet. So that's two recommendations. It's going to move up our list a little bit, I think.
All right.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I like things like that where it's not something you've seen before and you don't quite know where it's going. But it's beautifully directed, beautifully acted. I'm really enjoying that. But a lot of it, I've been away, and if it's a series I really want to see, invariably my wife really wants to see it too. So
true.
I'm banned from watching it. So I tend to revisit old stuff while I'm away. But I got back a couple of days ago, and so I'm looking forward to Ozark. I haven't seen the.
We love Ozark. And you'll enjoy that.
Yeah, I bet
you'll enjoy that.
Jason Bateman and Laura Linney, everyone in that's good. The brother. Were you guys talking about the brother in Ozark?
Yeah. Tom Pelfrey, who plays him, I think. So you have seen through season 3, I think it is.
That would be right.
Right. Okay.
The
newest one you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you going to say about him? Because we love that his performance.
That guy was incredible.
Oh my god!
I don't think that's an easy job either.
No.
That character. I don't know. Sometimes you see an actor do something. This is when I really love watching the performances. I would not have made any of those decisions.
Okay.
It wouldn't have occurred to me. And I remember him being one of them. It's a long time since I saw that, but
it was the scene in like the taxi,
the
car, whatever, like on ride back when he's off the meds and he's kind of just going.
Yeah, that's ringing a bell.
Just a converse, like he was just talking to the cabin and just all over the place, but like it flowed. That was crazy.
I think to play someone with those, I don't know what the word.
Mental health. The
mental health difficulties, the challenges that he was facing, and to play that so intricately. I mean, he absolutely crushed it. He absolutely crushed it.
Yeah, it was really extraordinary. One of the best performances I've seen in TV for a while. Just amazing. The other one I think I was blown away by, again, because I would never have thought to make these choices, was, did you watch Succession?
Another one that's on the list.
People keep telling me to watch that one.
Yeah,
that's great. I resisted that one, thinking I don't know if I'm going to enjoy that.
I think that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, right. but we got to get through it. And
I think it's like a couple of episodes because it takes time to realize, because they're all vile human beings in it, and you think I'm not used to that, where I've got to root for somebody in amongst this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I thought after 2 episodes, I don't know how I can continue. But eventually it just becomes hilarious. But there's a character in that played by an English actor called Matthew McFadden. And
who is in The Last Kingdom.
Yeah, first
plays Uhtred's dad. Yeah.
Of course. Yes, of course he does. Yeah. He is hilarious in it.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest performances I've seen in years.
Okay,
so
cool.
Worth it for him alone.
Yeah. We gotta definitely check that out. That one's got to be like 1 or 2 on my list because so many people have recommended that show. I know the soundtrack of the show with the piano, and I love the soundtrack of it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a beautiful soundtrack. But yeah, okay. So you've given us a few things on our list. I mean, a couple things that have been repeated. We'll definitely have to check it out.
I'll ask for one back. Is this something I might not have heard of?
You named Ozark. I watched recently. You know what I watched? It's a Spanish show, and it's in the Last Kingdom sort of realm. So you might not. I know you said Last Kingdom is not your typical show, but El Cid.
El Cid, I'm writing it
down. It's in Spanish. I was trying to learn Spanish, so that's why I started watching it. It's about a real knight from Spain.
Okay.
It's a short watch, and it's a little bit Last Kingdom-ish.
Right.
But it's, I think, fairly historically accurate, and it's in Spanish. That one I watched recently, I really liked.
I will, because this has changed my idea of this Last Kingdom, because I know how much
I mean, there's so many things that we love.
I think most of our stuff recently has been kind of more mainstream stuff because there's a lot
Outlander.
of Star Wars stuff coming out. Outlander's been really great. Outlander's
okay.
Good.
See, I've resisted that too.
Everyone's like, all our listeners have been like, guys got to cover Outlander because there's a huge crossover with the fans with that show.
Okay.
So we started covering Outlander and watching it, and we loved it.
Okay, I must do it then. I've heard great things about it. Loads of people I know love it.
It's definitely an R-rated thing, but
is it? Okay.
It is.
Well, like the Tudors, I guess, was like that.
Right. Oh, exactly. So it doesn't get much more R-rated in real life than the Tudor dynasty. So, Jesus. I'm excited to watch that. I have not seen the Tudors yet, by the way, but I've just listened to 2 or 3 podcasts about Henry VIII and kind of all the details. So I'm excited to dive into that show.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's a period of history that's interesting because that's like the opposite of this, where it's been written about more than almost anything else. There's so much information, and so much detail. So you can get lost in that.
Yeah.
Never.
And the other most recent thing that we've both seen is the new Batman movie.
Yes.
I've not seen it. Tell me.
You've seen it, Colby? You saw it?
I saw it. Yes, I saw it. First thing when I got back to the U.S., I went to the theater.
You didn't tell me.
That's a betrayal right there.
Yes.
I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's good. I don't want to say too much about it. If you're interested in Batman, I don't know.
I am. I do. I like that kind of thing. Yeah, and I'm interested in seeing him doing it. And
I think it's a fresh take on Batman.
Okay, good.
It's not a copy of any of the previous movies. Robert Pattinson plays brilliantly, I thought. We both gave it pretty high ratings, I think.
Yeah.
So you'll enjoy it, I think. It's definitely its own movie, and it's awesome.
I like the trailers look great, I think.
Yeah.
Super dark and
And do you have any new projects coming out? We know that you probably just finished wrapping up Seven Kings Must Die filming. So obviously we're looking forward to that, but are there any other big projects coming up in the future that you'd like to share?
There's something I did, like literally I went from the last day on The Last Kingdom onto another Netflix show up in Manchester in the UK, which is called Red Rose, which I haven't seen a lot about yet. So I guess they're still working out the edits and stuff like that. But yeah, that should be good. That's a horror series.
Which I will like.
You like horror? Okay. So
I do. And we want to do this thing on the podcast because Steve hates horror. Steve got really scared when we went to see the live action Lion King. And we
I didn't get really scared. There was just a few moments
Simba
that were
jumped out.
Jump scares, man.
I'm just kidding. No, but Steve is not a huge scary movie fan. And I am.
I don't do well.
But I think it would be fun on the podcast to have Steve but film his reaction. I think our listeners would love. So I'm trying to find a good scary thing or horror thing for Steve to do that.
Next time I come visit you or you visit me, we'll watch something. But
totally.
EMT on standby.
No.
Yeah. Oh, that would be hilarious. I can't think of it. I don't watch a lot of horror either. So
right.
Is there anything that you really want to get into doing, or you want to accomplish from your career still, or do?
Well, I love work. Everything about this stuff I love. I like, because you're saying you must be into history, but I'm just I'm into studying the stuff I'm doing. If that's like, okay, this guy's an accountant, I quite like the excuse to learn what that's all about, or so I like work. And there's a guy I would like, a dream kind of thing to I'd love to Wes Anderson. I love
I like his movies too. They're eclectic. I like those.
They're absolutely. I love them, and they've got this just fun quirkiness about them.
Yeah.
That's a kind of perfect film for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Did he do the Grand Budapest Hotel?
Yes,
he did.
Have you guys seen that? Because I want to watch that.
I thought it was good. That was the first one I saw of his. I thought it was funny, and it was still,
I really want to watch it. It looks
mystery
great
too. Like it was just different kind of movie.
Yeah.
I thought it's hilarious.
Okay, cool. That's I keep trying to convince my girlfriend to watch it, and she doesn't ever wants to for some reason. So I'm like,
it's kind of thing my wife will try there as well. Yeah. I think it'd be one of those things you could hate it. So maybe she's right to be cautious. But
sure. So I might watch it before she gets back from Argentina here. Just do
that. Yeah, because it's split. I think it must split people. I adore that kind of thing. And I'd like Jojo Rabbit. Did you see that?
I love Jojo Rabbit. Oh, you should watch it, Steve. Taika Waititi plays Adolf Hitler.
Yes, I did see that.
Imaginary, yeah,
that's
imaginary Adolf Hitler, and he's. I love that sort of contrast between what Hitler would actually be like and this imaginary, the kid thinking, because he idolizes Hitler, like what he thinks Hitler's like, and that's Taika Waititi. Just like,
oh, it's hilarious. It's a beautiful film. Well, I think maybe you might like Grand Budapest Hotel.
I think I'd like it.
I think you will.
Knowing my taste.
Yeah.
Just the trailer, it looks like I love it. I love the actor.
I watched Reacher recently. It was based on books by Lee Child that I really like. And then I watched...
Which was that one, a Lee Child one?
Oh, Reacher is what it's called.
Oh, Reacher. Okay.
Yeah, it's on Amazon, based on his Jack Reacher character. I thought it was really good. I thought it was really good to the book. I thought it was really good. And then also too, I'm dating someone that's really into trashy reality TV stuff. But we watched Love Is Blind, and it was kind of fun. That's like the first reality thing I've ever been like into. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
You're the second person to say that. I had a patient probably about our age who his girlfriend said the same thing. My girlfriend got me to watch Love Is Blind, and he was like, it was good. I really liked it.
I really like. I don't even like Survivor. Like a lot of people like. I'm just like, come on, like this is obvious. Like I'd rather just watch actors like who are good at acting, do acting like with a good script instead of pretending. But like this, I don't know. I think there was a lot of real stuff that happened, and there's definitely some things that are like set up. Like, come on, like these two people over here, they're talking. There's cameras on them, but it was interesting. It was really interesting.
Yeah,
there's a really sweet one. Talking of reality TV on Netflix called Love on the Spectrum. Have you seen that?
No, but
it's so beautiful. It's so lovely. Yeah. It's all set in Australia, all filmed in Australia, and
okay, I'll add that to the list.
Feel warmed up spiritually. That's a place to go.
We've just enjoyed chatting with you.
Yeah, it's been really nice. We're like so laid back, so lovely.
Yeah, and I know the movie's coming out, and we'd love to have you on again sometime in the future, if you'd like, after the movie comes out or something.
Definitely.
Or any other future stuff, because you've been honestly a great guest today.
Thank you.
Thank
you for coming on.
Thank you for having me on. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a real pleasure.
And just real quick too, have you gotten like any response from the fans now that you're like new to the show? The Last Kingdom's come out.
Yeah. I've got everything's been really lovely. I'm loving it. I'm not very good on social media. You may have noticed. maybe have posted on Instagram 8-9 times now, and that's all been in about the last 3 days.
Right.
But what I'm getting is it's so much better than I thought. I thought as soon as that sword went into Heston, I'm screwed. That's it. I've been on shows before where I get people wishing I was dead, not the character. They're openly saying it, and I think, it's going to be one of those again. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to be in that situation. But
I definitely did not feel like that. I was so happy that he didn't die and he gets to exit at the end and go back.
No.
Yeah.
I was like, we're going to get to see more of him, which I was pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Harry Anton's taking all the negative hate off of anyone else right now.
Oh, God, I better give
and I don't know if you've seen the series, but I don't want to spoil what he does if you don't know.
I've read it.
Okay. Okay.
I think I can remember In the Woods or something, right?
Yeah. He kills off one of Uhtred's crew. But one of the main.
You know what? I watched that last night. That's as far as I've got.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
apologized when we talked to him. He's like, I'm sorry, everyone.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's really not okay. That's not.
I know. I told him you should have just denied. You should have just told the director and the producers, no, put your foot down. You've already filmed so much of it. What are they going to
Yeah. I'm just going to I'm not going to do it.
It's not, I can't do it.
Right. You say, guess what? Bressel poisoned him. Yeah.
Off screen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. No. I wonder what happened before the revolution. No, I'm not filming that. Sorry.
Oh my God. And is there anything before we wrap up here that you'd like to say to the fans?
I think I'd just say thank you. I mean, I feel a bit of an imposter because I'm so new to it. But you guys are like, from what I have seen so far in my little time, are the most incredible fans on anything I've ever worked on, and you're really supportive and kind about the work as well. And so, thank you so much. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy though to be a fan of the show because of the work that every single person involved does on the show. I mean, everyone from, the whole cast and crew works as a team to bring out something so beautiful. And you guys tied up the series part of the show so perfectly, in our opinion. And we had high expectations and you guys met them. And as far as you feeling like an imposter, you fit into the show perfectly. I think you did exactly what you set out to do. You're a mixture. You have the Scots now have their own sort of persona, their own sort of jovial yet fierce, like I said, authoritative sort of persona, confident. And I think you definitely achieved that if that's what you set out to do. And it's fresh. It's not a copy of any other group of people. It's its own new thing. So well done on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for coming on, and everyone watching, listening to us. Make sure you like, subscribe, check out the links in the description below. We have Rod's work, his social media, his IMDb down there too. So make sure you check that out. And otherwise, thank you again, Rod. And
thank you. And I'll see you guys soon. I'll be happy to come back. So let me know if you do want that. And probably don't be going to the movie theater on your own again.
I know. Well, he saw it before me. In all fairness,
tell me you saw it though.
And I was going to Argentina, and I didn't want to go to a theater and risk getting COVID because I have to get tested before I went. So I had to wait a whole week, and then I didn't want to see it in Argentina because I don't want to see it in Spanish. So then I had to wait till I came back.
Okay. It's not as bad as I thought it sounded initially.
No. So see, you got to get the other point of view here. It's I'm the one. But yeah, as we always say, goodbye, and destiny is all.